All right, so first task, we're going to go ahead and find the domain of f of x. So domain is all about inputs, what we want to plug in. So you should be looking for square roots and fractions. So we actually see them both. The nice thing about this fraction is when you look at what it's divided by is 8. So we're never going to be able to make the denominator 0, so we don't have to worry about a divide by 0. So the fraction is no issue here. But I do see a square root, right? And it's just the square root of x. So you have to think, okay, what can x be or what can't x be? So what can x be? Good, 0 to infinity. So are we going to include 0?
Yeah.
Okay, 0 to infinity. Okay. And the range is all about outputs. So with what you guys see in blue up there, the square root of x is going to produce a bunch of different things. But all of those things are between what? So Casey is saying if you just look at the blue piece will always be between 0 and infinity. Do you guys agree? Okay. So here's what's going to happen. The smallest that blue piece can be is 0. The largest it can be is infinity. So you're just going to do a little analysis on this, and you're saying, okay, if I multiply that blue piece by 2, what is this always going to be contained in? Like what number set? The same number set, right? Yeah, I mean, take 0, multiply it by 2, you still get 0. Take all the decimals that you know that exist between 0 and infinity, multiply by 2, and you're still getting some funny decimals. But this whole 2 times square root of x, that thing is always going to be contained in 0 to infinity as well. Now the next layer of this is you're going to add 4. So what we have in purple there, what's that always going to be contained in? 4 to infinity. So if you take that number set and you divide everything by 8, what's that going to be contained in? 0.5 to infinity. So let me see. I've got some graphing software on here. Let's graph this and let's see if the graph also shows that the range is from 1/2 to infinity. So it might take me a second to get this up, but graph. Okay, so we need to put in the equation. Anybody remember the equation? I know there was a fraction. Okay, 2 square root x, so 2 times x. Now I don't have a square root on here, so what should I raise it to? Okay, so that is 2 square root x there. Plus 4, okay. Oops. Plus 4. All of that divided by what? I have a plus. Did we have a plus? Okay. Okay, so let's graph that. Now we're expecting that the smallest y value we get to is what? 4? Okay, I think you guys said 0.5 then. So if we zoom way out, it looks like we're increasing here. Now we're increasing slowly, right? How can we be sure? Like, how would you know that it doesn't like flatten out? It doesn't get to a point where it doesn't get any larger. Zoom way out, okay. Okay, well, is there another feature possibly on this graphing utility that I could use? I mean, because I can zoom way out, but then this thing starts looking like kind of Okay, I could plug a big number into the equation. I think we've got a tool to do that right here. I think we can go to we could do a table. What might a nice increment for x be if we're going to look at large values? Okay, 100. We'll go 500. Okay, there you go. There's your table. Now, which column, first column, second column, third column, or fourth column, which one is the y values? Which one is y? You guys say first. That's x. Second? Okay. Yeah, these last two columns are for calculus. So if I look down on this, what does it look like? What's happening? Looks like it's maxing out. Let's try something. If it maxes out like at 250, if it were to, that means that there's no x that's going to produce a y value of like 400, right? So let me show you a little trick here. If you don't know, we're going to come back here. We'll take our equation. Yeah, let's look at, is it possible for f of x to equal 400? What was that equation again, guys? So let's see if we can ever get to 400. So what would you do to both sides in solving this? Times by 8, okay? Okay, then subtract 4. Okay, so 2 square root x equals 400 times 8 minus 4. Okay, now what?
Then you're going to want to divide by 2.
Divide by 2, okay?
Followed by squaring.
And square root the whole thing, okay? So what do you guys think? Is there an x value? Is there going to be an x value that gets you a y value of 400? Oh, you guys said square both sides. I'm sorry. Oh man. All right, squared. Is that realistic? I mean, will that give us a value for x? Okay. So I am absolutely fine with our range. We did it. Good job.